Welcome to another FAQ Monday. I'm your host, Fluff. If you have a question, feel free to leave them down below in the comments or go on over to my Ask FM account thing and maybe I'll answer a question or two. You know, if you got really lucky, wouldn't it be like hilariously awesome if you got all three questions? I mean, if you did it anonymously, obviously we wouldn't know it was you, but if you didn't do it anonymously, if it had your little name, then I don't know why that would matter. Anyone would care, but still, kind of cool, right? First question, what do you think about the Marshall JCM2000 TSL60? Actually, the JCM2000 stuff is pretty good. Now, I have not tried the retooled, revised Mark II JCM2000 that are currently made overseas in Japan or China, somewhere. I'm talking about the original series, you know, the UK made JCM2000. I mean, really, it's a classic amp by now. And I remember when those first came out, they were amazing. I mean, you saw them everywhere. Most notably, the guy that comes to mind that used them a lot was Jeff Beck and Derek Wimbley from Sum 41. Oddly enough, I don't know why that came to my mind, that he used that a lot. But great amp. The TSL60 is a workhorse. I know they had some problems with the solder joints or something like that, or the makeup of the solder, something of that nature. And that's why they had to stop production in the UK and move them over to wherever they're made now. Although I have been known to kind of peruse eBay and Reverb from time to time looking for an old JCM2000, because really you can have the JCM2000 head, TSL60, the 100 watt, whatever. You can find them for usually right around $600 or $700, which is not bad for a really good Marshall. So yeah. If you're looking for a Marshall tone on a budget, definitely check those out. Have you ever turned down a company's request to demo or review a product? Yeah, I have. It does happen. Most of the time with reasonable gear requests, or, you know, the companies hit me up, they kind of already know the audience by now. So usually it's not too far out of the ballpark. I've been trying to stretch myself as far as products that I do have on the channel. Most notably, some of the fuzz pedals. I wouldn't have had that. I would have normally really shied away from that in the early days of this channel, just because I really didn't know how to record a fuzz, because you definitely have to record and mix fuzz a little differently than a normal distorted guitar tone. But I'm trying to branch out and do, like, you know, the fuzz tones and the bass related gear, and kind of just broaden my horizons gear-wise a little bit. But yeah, there's been stuff I've gotten and not liked. They shall remain unnamed. But I think the huge misconception is, like, I see the comment all the time of, well, have you ever reviewed something that you don't actually like? And I don't do reviews on this channel. And if I do, it says review. But other than that, I simply take a piece of gear and show you what I would do with it in a mix, and then in a playthrough, and then I talk about it. So I never do reviews. I do demos. So I think that's a huge misconception. But yeah, there's been some stuff that I haven't really liked. But you know what? It doesn't matter if I like it or not. It matters what you guys think. So really, what I think about a piece of gear is, I'll still usually throw it up on the channel anyway. Could you expand a bit on your mechanics career, as I am new to the field and I seem to meet a lot more people who were mechanics than are mechanics? Sure, I started out busting tires at a Sam's Club in 2000, late 1999, right after I graduated high school, and then my girlfriend at the time became pregnant, and I thought, I better find something that pays a lot more than Sam's Club. So I decided to go into wrenching, because, you know, I come from a long line of mechanically minded guys. I'm into gear. The whole thing just kind of clicks and makes sense in my brain, and I enjoyed it. And so I went and got a job at Goodyear in, it was like 2000, I think, mid 2000. And I went to brake school at Goodyear. And then after Goodyear, I went to a teeny tiny shop in Edgewood, Washington, near Milton, called Edgewood Tire and Service. And I pretty much learned everything I know there by my good buddy Roger Woldridge, who's still around in that area, turning wrenches somewhere. And from there, I really kind of dove into it, and I got ASE certified for a bunch of stuff: brakes, front end alignment. Front ends were really my bread and butter. I was really good at aligning old vintage cars, stuff that didn't have any specs and things like that, and measuring the camber out and the casters and things like that. But the suspension was really my bread and butter. But I was AC certified in almost everything but diag. I wasn't really a diag guy. I didn't really have much of an opportunity to get into diag because in the world of turn and wrenches, you know, the senior guys get the cheese and the rest of you get the breadcrumbs. So there was always a grizzled vet doing diag and stuff like that, and they had their own, you know, snap-on scopes and stuff like that. But it's not a bad career to get into. People always need the cars worked on. It doesn't matter what the season is, and it doesn't matter what the economy is doing. People still need to get the cars worked on. So it really, being a mechanic raised my daughter without question, until eventually I decided to leave, because at some point I was worried about injuring myself and not being able to play guitar, to be honest with you. And, you know, I've dropped a few brake rotors, and I have some arthritis in my pinky and in a couple of my toes from dropping just gigantic things on it. I knocked myself out a few times and fell off the lift a few times and things like that. It's a dangerous occupation, and, you know, it's for young men, just like, you know, mosh pits. It's for young men. It's not for the old guys. So, no, you're getting into a right career. It's up to you whether you stay in it or not, but it's really hard to get out of. But when I transitioned and eventually got out of wrenching, I went to Boeing, and I worked for Boeing for 9 years until I got fired just this last July. So, yeah. Stick it out, see if you like it. You know, you can always switch around shops as well. This week, I suggest you check out the new Two Notes Le Preamp line. Me and the guys over at Two Notes have been working on these pedals for well over a year and a half, approximately. These are 4 different preamps. There's a La Bass, La Clean, La Crunch, and La Lead. They're super, super cool. They're 2-powered, dual channel, MIDI controllable, all that good stuff. They're super awesome. You'll be seeing them on this channel very soon, as well as around in the rest of the world. All applicable links down below in the description. You've been wonderful. I've been Fluff. I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.